The Murky Cup continues. We are in semifinal number 2 of our first qualifier. The first qualifier out of 6. So once again, the tournament format, fairly simple. We have 6 qualifiers in total. They're all single elimination. The teams gather points as they move through the tournament. The points are being added up into a leaderboard, and at the end of the 6 qualifiers, the top teams in the leaderboard move into the playoffs, where we play out a double elimination bracket over 2 weekends for a prize pool of $2,000. Also, massive shout out once again and a big thank you to I Can't Wait, who makes the entire tournament possible here. So he's the one to make all of this happen. So big shout out to him. And he's a big Murky fan, hence the Murky Cup. And we have, of course, as I already explained in the previous matches, a bit of a bounty system that we're adding into it. If you watched the Banshee Cup previously, then you're kind of familiar with the bounty system. We put a bit of a tweak on it for Murky in particular, and I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But if you're not really include in what exactly the bounty system is, it's actually fairly straightforward. We have the prize pool of $2,000 split in $1,000 that goes to the top teams that perform the best in the tournament, as usual. And then there's $1,000 in a bounty pool. Teams can complete bounties, which essentially are handicaps. You have to play a certain hero and win with that hero. You have to play a certain talent combination or something along those lines. And if you do, you get a ticket for the bounty pool. And then at the end of all the games that are being played in this tournament, we're looking at how many bounties each team completed, how many bounties were completed in total, and you get a share of that $1,000 bounty pool. Here's, by the way, a look at the bounties, so you can have a quick look there. So far, only 1 bounty has been completed. We're obviously only in qualifier number 1, so we didn't really expect too many to be completed just yet. But Team Ash is the only team with a bounty so far. They won with Monstrosity Abatha, and if the tournament would end right now, they would get the entire $1,000 in the bounty pool. But of course, we can expect more teams to complete bounties as all of this progresses. Now, you might have noticed that there's a special note with Murky, and it's actually fairly simple. If you complete Murky as a bounty, if you win with Murky, you get 3 bounties. 3 bounty tickets. Not only 1, but 3. So, as we're going into our first game of the best of 3 series here in the semi-final, we have currently the Dudes going up against the Exodia stack. Now, I should probably note that the Dudes' official team name right now is Team Name Pending or something, because they couldn't really agree on what their team name is going to be. So I just call them Dudes, because they're always a little bit verstrahlt, a little bit zoned out, and it just seemed fitting, specifically with Nano and Gavlo, with Ultralisk and Gavlo on their side. But then you look over to the Exodia stack, and guys, I'm gonna be honest, this is just an absolute who's who there. Bad Benny playing again, we have Hazu, we got Dino, we got Yasu in Copenhagen, so this is really a team that is not only the favorite, I would argue, in this particular series, but potentially also for the qualifier victory here. Now, Maiev has been banned against Ultralisk, we have also Yasu's Lucio banned out, but as we're heading into the draft, I think it's also pretty important to note that this tournament, similar to what we had with the Banshee Cup, if you still remember it, has one draft rule, one draft restriction, and that is that a hero can only be played once within a series. So we're back to that. We're having a bit of a draft restriction. We're having the incentive to play bounties. This is obviously a handicap that you can impose on yourself in order to get a reward, but you don't have to. It's always a risk-reward calculation that you have to go through as a team. But if you, for example, don't feel like it, you don't have to play a bounty. You can just say like, yeah, we don't care. We play for the normal tournament prize money of $1,000. That's all that we're interested in. And you make that move. Hanzo, Jojo, Brightwing now for the red team. They've done actually pretty well in their quarterfinal match. So we'll see how they could do against the Exodia stack here in the semi-final. But with the final ban, after Genji has already been eliminated, so there's no United Shimada brothers that can be a problem for the blue team. We now have Falstad banned out, who has become more and more of a staple, I'd say, in a lot of the European games. Now, to be fair, in most of the matches that we had up to this point, he wasn't really a factor, but especially the Exodia stack has played him before quite a bit. The macro plays that he can execute with him, the gusts into corners, can all really be devastating if that happens. Now, Dehaka and Malfurion are our next 2 picks. Infernal Shrines, as the first map of the best of 3 series, lends itself, of course, to that outside poke from Junkrat that we're getting. You have also, at the same time, really nice CC chains that you can already execute. And one of the reasons why Diablo was picked very early is that he is usually very, very strong, just simply because he can bully around and stun them into the walls around the shrine with ease throughout the entire tournament here. So, yeah. But then again, we now have our final 2 picks coming in, Hogger and Gul'dan. So you get your mage with the AoE clear, and you then have Hogger on top of that with a bit of a ping-pong around on the shrine. And I mean, if you leave Hogger alone at the shrine, he's just going to take it for the team, right? So if you buy time with the rest of the team, that's already a win for you right there. Final pick for Dino, as so often. And then we're going to head into the first game of the best of 3 series. So the Exodia stack, they need a little bit more damage. Definitely not going to be enough. Junkrat is a fantastic pick for the map, but they need a bit more. And they go for Nova. Okay, game number 1, and we already go for a bounty attempt. Yeah, I did not expect that. Great job. I love it. Right out of the gates, they come in with a bounty. They go for Nova. Guys, let's check it out. Infernal Shrines, the Exodia stack against the dudes. Nova, Nova, Nova! Yep, we have a bounty attempt in the first game already. The Exodia stack on the left with Hazorps on Junkrat, Bad Benny on Diablo. Dino is playing player killer number 1. We got Copenhagen, Dehaka, and Yazu on Malfurion. Over to the right side of the map, the dudes, the red team with Gavlo on Johanna. We get Uki on Brightwing, Bloodcool on Hogger, Nano on Hanzo, and Ultralisk is playing Gul'dan. He's going to go for the full Echoed Corruption play over here. He is going to be one of the main targets, by the way, for Nova. So this should get real interesting. I think it's so much fun that we have Nova already in the first game. I would say that with the Exodia stack, it was kind of likely that we're going to get some kind of bounty attempt. But I usually feel that most of the teams reserve a lead. They wait until they have a lead and then reserve game number 2 or game number 3 for that. But now we have Nova already in the first game with the advanced cloaking. And, I mean, hey, let's see if they can make that happen. I would definitely like that. That would be a lot of fun if they were able to pull that off. Of course, for the dudes, they're sitting there and they're like, wait, are you disrespecting us that much? You could at least wait until the second map until you have a lead until you take that risk. But not so much. So already a little bit of poke happening from Nova here. Should get interesting once that we're seeing also Gul'dan with this level 10. He can counteract that properly. Any kind of early game skirmishes, by the way, are nice for Gul'dan simply because he's going to be able to complete his level 1 quest a little bit faster. Dehaka, so you have a global on the map too. And the Exodia stack, I mean, again, stacked up team, insanely powerful. Also the team that won the recent Raven Court tournament. Again, if you haven't checked out the Raven Court tournament, if you haven't seen the North America tournament or the Korea Cup, all the playlists are on YouTube right now, so you can check them out there. Also, if you are watching this on YouTube, a quick note, if everything goes well... Oh, actually, things might not go well for Dino. Nano's also a bit low. But yeah, if everything goes well, I changed my setup now a little bit. I'm finally on my new high-tech PC. The thing is an absolute monster and I love it. I'm also tweaking a lot still with the settings for the stream, other stuff. There's some new hardware that still needs to be installed. But one of the things that could or that should work already, and it might, but obviously I don't know yet, is that you should be able to watch the videos now in a 2K resolution on YouTube. So if you are interested to take advantage of that, check your quality settings. You might be able to tune them up a little bit. So I'm constantly trying to improve the stream whenever I can. And this might now be something that is available to you if things went well. If not, then I have to adjust stuff for the second qualifier. But either way, in that spirit, if you guys appreciate the efforts and also if you want to see more content like this on the channel, give it a thumbs up. Any kind of engagement with the video, being it comments, being it thumbs up, is always very much appreciated. And again, it boosts the algorithm a little bit. And it is highly needed to make Heroes of the Storm content happen. So it would be pretty sweet if you guys could use that second to press a button. And sub to the channel if you haven't done it yet, of course. Especially if you want to see more Heroes of the Storm content in the future, now that Stormgate is coming into early access, because that is definitely going to battle a little bit for my attention. 0 kills so far, and the first objective is up, so it's time to start the party here. The AoE that Gavlo with Johanna comes in is gonna prove to be quite useful. Now the question, of course, what is Nova gonna be able to do? The precision sniper is in. Stacks are increased, and now what can Dino pull off with this boys? He definitely doesn't have any AoE that he can use in order to help them with the stacks on the shrine. The Haka is also still pushing this. He wants to get level 7 for the team, and they're going for the wall here as well. Now the objective has been given up, as you can tell. They're not really interested to go for it. They try to pin them down on the objective so that the Haka had a bit more wiggle room at the top. But they had to decide that they would let this one slide simply because they just couldn't hold a candle to the clear speed that the dudes brought in. So now at the bottom, the attack is coming. Junkrat jumping out very, very quickly. Nova in the meantime with a perfect shot as a level 7 talent. Yeah, and starting to poke that out. The Haka has done solid damage up at the top. Down here, Gul'dan maybe in trouble. The Haka comes in, and Junkrat is already gone. Junkrat is destroyed, Hazob's died, Gavlo is a bit low, they still try and snipe him here, bit of stutter stepping, but Nova, player killer number 1 baby, 2 kills, 3, it's a bloodbath over here, and Dino gets another kill, takes Hanzo down. That is 3 kills against the red team, but they took the fort out, and that just means, yeah, I mean that was kind of worth it. Taking that one out was definitely worth, I'd say. Obviously, Hanzo, last one to fall here as he got sniped. That's a nice leading experience, and the 3 kills come in handy too, but losing the fort is a setback that's annoying, to say the least. So yeah, they gotta deal with that somehow. As things stand, we now have half a level until they're hitting level 10. Benny, starting to rotate over too. Careful, and yeah. I was just waiting for him to try and engage and get them a stun or something, but yeah. Nova at this point on 15,000 damage. Not the top damage in the game or anything. Hanzo is still with all of that random poke that he has, slightly ahead of her, but still fairly decent damage. There's a level 10, and they go for the Hogger kill and they grab it. Well executed, they couldn't steal the camp away, but the early heroic ability allowed them to get the kill here with a precision strike from Nova. Also a tool that can of course be used later on in the game, specifically with the level 20 double charge if you're trying to focus some structures. Talking about focusing things, yeah, they focused Diablo successfully, so he's gone. Not made a commitment on his heroic ability yet. Oh, and now it's the end of Malfurion. Level 10 kicked in time, so that gave us the Blessed Shield for Jojo, and it ended up with another kill for them. But it's not over by any means, is it now? They're still hoping to get some kills together here. It's an aggressive game, and it's a wild game. 4 kills to 4. The handicap with Nova, obviously kind of neat, but she's getting decent damage out, so she's always pinning them down a little bit. Hogger taking camps for the red team in the meantime. So yeah, working those down fairly quickly. And over at the bottom of the map, the Haka gets the Haka is going to play a big role, I would say, later on with Nova when she has 2 charges on Precision Strike. Because if you're starting to go for structures that way, you can technically try and pin them down and take them out with Precision Strike too. It's obviously a big cooldown that you're kind of wasting there, but if it's the one way that you are taking, let's say, a fort out that is very low, then it's totally worth it. Precision Strike to slow things down at the top a bit and buy them more time. Also take the minion waves out. Using it that early is going to allow them to have it back up ready for the fight at the top, I guess. The Haka coming in. Some neat damage, but not enough. Arrow! Wow, beautifully dodged. Arrow coming out, the team realized it, and then they dodge it right away. There's the barbecue. Gavlo gets saved for a second, but Bright being sniped by Nova. Now they are focusing their attention towards Hogger, and that's a double kill. And the timing could not be more perfect for the Exodia stack. Here's the Horrify, and losing Jojo, and Dino survives. Gets killed eventually, but still worth it. It's a 1-for-4 trade, and that's absolutely alright. So we have Junkrat already up on the spot to get them the Punisher. 25,000 damage against 24,000 now in favor of Hanzo, but Nova is clearly catching up. So big damage coming from Dino. And they have now 8 kills to 5. So fights like this is pretty insane. Now they can go for the Frozen Punisher, which is of course the strongest out of the bunch. Move in for the fort and likely take him down. And they're still opening up some of the walls at the bottom and the top as all of this plays out. Nova is now back to business. Yeah, but that's the end of Malfurion again. Gets flanked and killed. Malfurion is gone, and that's of course a setback that is pretty annoying. It doesn't change the fate of the topside fort though. They haven't even started to defend, and it's just too much. Nova's already sitting there. Riptire is in. Yeah, good shield glare in order to drop Nova out of her stealth. But that also exposes Johanna a little bit, so Gafler has to be careful. The Iron Skin was up, good for him. But there's nice damage, and the drag is perfect. Oh my god. Copenhagen, seriously. That tongue play is amazing. That's what she said, at least. I mean, literally, that's literally what Jojo said. I mean, she is absolutely wild for that kind of play, and I'm sure Copenhagen's girlfriend would agree. But that's now 10 kills to 6, and what looked initially like it would only be a fort that gets destroyed, very quickly moves into a keep. Like, getting a keep out of this. Like, it's nothing. Before the 10-minute mark, everybody. 10 minutes into the game, and we have level 16, nearly a 2-level advantage for the blue team. And they're taking a keep down. So that's insanity. Quest not completed for Gul'dan either. Nova with big plays, not the biggest damage, but that's where Hanzo will just have an upper hand very likely throughout the game. Now they have the level 16 talent advantage, so that's in and of itself already crazy. They popped all of the structures in the middle of the map, took the 2 towers that was standing out. But damn. The Haka, the only one that hasn't died yet, by the way. So yeah, Copenhagen beasting it up on all accounts here. 30 stacks for Gul'dan is level 1. Nova has now gone into the explosive round after the Psionic efficiency on level 13. So yeah, the play is working out extremely well. And that might be a bounty for them. Thus far, it was only a single bounty that has been completed in the tournament. I mean, again, it's qualifier number 1, so it's gonna look very different once that we are in the playoffs themselves. But up to now, it was only Team Ash that was able to complete a bounty. So now the question is, can the Exodia stack draw even and complete one as well here? Right now, it seems likely. But I gotta give at least some credit to the dudes. With them playing a bit safe and waiting for the experience to kick in, they're now closing on level 16 talents themselves, and that's all happening just before the next objective comes through. Obviously, structurally, with the keep lost, it's an issue. The continuous poke against the fort in the middle of the map definitely doesn't help them either. There's the Horrify against Diablo, the arrow fully missing. Once again, Nano not being able to connect it because the blue team pays attention and dodges it right away. So, Root is on the ground, and the precision strike does not quite connect, and Benny just kind of killed himself. So Benny goes down, the precision strike didn't work, Junkrat dies too. This is a bit of a wild development here. Nova gets a kill on Hogger, and they're taking Jojo out too. I mean, honestly, just as the dudes are getting 2 kills, they're losing 2 heroes. And Diablo is coming back, but look at this. Precision strike without any damage because Diablo pushed him out. Then Dibbles is in trouble. The fight continues on the left side. And Jojo falls. Shortly after that, Hogger gets destroyed too. Now they're going for Gul'dan. And it's again the drag from Copenhagen that tees up Nova for another kill. So they get Hanzo. What a slaughter all of a sudden. Brightwing trying to make some positional plays, but also suffering a lack of hit points at the hands of the Exodia stack, and that is a 5-man team wipe. And it's also another fort destroyed in the middle of the map. The Shrine is active. Nova is moving down to the bot lane. Absolutely insane what the Exodia stack is pulling off here right now. Crazy plays. Really impressive. There's a couple of combos that might not fully sync up the way that they intend, but so many of these plays are just smooth. Absolutely smooth. 15 kills, 2-8, 2-level lead right now. experience advantage in hero experience. This massive minion experience is huge, of course, as well. Showcasing again how well they are doing, collecting all of that minion experience. The Haka being a big factor in it. If you compare the experience gathered by the two side laners, you can clearly see the difference here. Using that global properly is putting them into the driver's seat, amongst other things. So yeah, they're looking real strong now. Going for the next objective, slowing this down a bit to give more time for the rest of the team to make their plays. And now the move for the mid lane. For the mid lane keep. They already took the fort out, now it's all about the keep. A bit of poke happening here and double checking the bushes as the dudes are retreating and hoping to see maybe someone hiding there that they could collapse upon. But with the Exodia stack delaying their objective a little bit, it allowed the Haka to get more experience for the team, and now they have level 20. That gives us the precision barrage, so now there's the double hit. Copenhagen can move into the middle. Nova slowly getting into position. Nice bait over the wall as you need. Quest completed for Diablo, meaning he's fully stacked and can die at least once. But now that the gate is gone, they can start to get the damage in with Nova again. That's exactly what they're looking for. Precision barrage is in. Diablo is down. They try to trade him here. He will be back. But the quest is also completed for Gul'dan. This time the arrow connected, but they're not getting a lot out of it. Second stack of the barrage is through, but they could not get a kill. Neither did they get the keep. This objective did little for them. They're rotating towards the bottom of the map to drop the fort, and that's not a problem. So all the forts are gone. One keep destroyed, but I would still say that the defense was rather successful. Now they're moving out. Now might change that. And the barrage is burning the shields down. But there's the barbecue too. Diablo needs to be a bit cautious. Not only Jojo that has to be careful, but again, look at that tongue. Look at those tongues from De Haka. Honestly, if that doesn't get you a couple of positive Tinder swipes, then I don't know what does. But seriously, that's a skill that you need to add to your profile for sure. That's not even an empty promise or anything. That's not even bragging at this point. We just need to let people know. That's a gene that we need to pass on to the next generation for sure. 15 kills to 9. Copenhagen playing out of his mind here. Dino dropping the damage like crazy. And the team is absolutely in sync. But the game's not over. The dudes are fighting. They want level 20 and they're closing in on Storm Talons any moment now. Yeah, they still hope that they can turn this around. And we have seen crazy comebacks. We have seen them in this qualifier. Team Ash, anybody? Remember that? So, yeah. Up towards the top. Benny. I mean, even Diablo is now pushing the lanes out. Obviously, they have vision at the bottom of the map. But they're trying to escort the catapults over towards the core a little bit. It's just wild to me that we see Benny doing that instead of the Haka. Eventually, he should move back here. But it's not only the top lane that's under pressure. Here in the middle, the catapult is zoning in. And it's Hans who has to take it out now. And he is moving away. Oh my god. Yeah, they are taking way too much damage here. Alright, I mean, he gets it. But that's way too much damage that Keith just took. So, that's a bit unfortunate. He's still standing. That's good news. But he has taken even more damage. So, times are tough a little bit. And with the next minion wave that is coming in, Nano is dropping it. But the next fight should center around the objective at the bottom of the map. Both teams now on level 20. Nova still has hopes that she's going to be top damage in the game, by the way. I mean, she's close to Hanzo. If they drop Hanzo quickly in the team fight, then she can stack up some extra damage. She can definitely pull that off. Or at least you would think so. Yeah. I love, by the way, how they're just using this now to take down some of the minion waves here. It gives them more macro control. You have now De Haka and you got Nova in order to get those macro positions. And as they are ahead and catapults push in their favor, they can leverage that. And they do during these fights. What I would have loved to see is this camp taken though. So the camp was never taken. So that's a little bit of an issue. De Haka is still pushing the top lane, so that's nice. Trying to escort that towards the core. And eventually we're going to end up in Winian territory for this one. Bit of a zoning precision strike. It's going to get another one in just a moment. So, yeah. Can tee those up. And they're buying time for the Haka. So, next one is in. Nova from a safe distance. Yeah, the scouting is out. And now the Haka is joining the fun. Dehaka is in, ready for the party, and wow, gets nearly bursted down within moments. Arrow is out, only connecting with the front though. Dehaka still totally fine. Catapults amassing at the top. 26 to 17 points on the objective. The Shrine minions in favor of the Exodia stack still. They're closing in on another Punisher, and they have catapults moving towards the top corner. Frozen Punisher is in. The red team is in trouble, and they might even lose heroes here. Another Iron Skin for Jana saves the day, but the catapults are starting to go for the shield on the core of the red team. Once again, isolation. Here comes the move. Nano is low, so is Gav low. They're all trying to get away here. All of them low. All of them just desperately retreating and trying to get out of the fight. And they actually escape. They actually escape and make it out. Nobody has fallen. Catapults with an easy triple barrage against the core is nearly dropping the shield, but not quite. But it means that the bot lane is now fully exposed. Mid lane gets attacked, bottom gets attacked. They want all the keeps. Every single one of them. The one in the middle is forfeit. No chance of holding it. Not gonna happen. Down at the bottom of the map. Maybe an opportunity to defend here. 15 kills, 2-9. And the Punisher jumps in big time and locks them down. Johanna is gone. 16 kills, 2-9. Benny gets saved as Tranquility comes out again. And now then trouble. Shield on the core is nearly gone. Shield on the core is nearly eliminated. They could poke here if they wanted to. They should. Not regenerating yet. They're keeping it up. Can they get another kill? 5 versus 4 for now. And of course they want this. Bam! First 3 points are gone. First 3 percentage points. They're gonna poke this as long as they can. Jojo is not back for another 30 seconds. That's plenty of time to try and get another kill. Diablo is back now. Here's the 5 versus 4. Benny back to business. They try for Gul'dan. Diablo looking for the engage. Goes for Hanzo. And there's the Tong again! The Tongs of Copenhagen! Nano survives. He's in a corner though. Is not going to get out of this one all that easily. Brightwing is helping out, but the core gets attacked. They're just moving in for it, and why wouldn't they? They can end the game right here. Catapults are helping out, and that is the lead. 1-0 for the Exodia stack as they drop the dudes on Infernal Shrines. For the victory. GG. Well played.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Map number 2, successful bounty for the Exodia stack, completing the Nova bounty on the first map. So yeah, I like it. They scrimmed for it, they made it happen, but still, I appreciate that they went in on game number 1 already with the bounty. Now it opens up another opportunity to complete the second one on God of Terror as our second map, but hey, still, I did not think that teams would go for any kind of bounty on map 1 as is. Now we're still in the semi-final, it's the best of 3. It's the first qualifier for the Murky Cup, and we'll see if the dudes can turn this around and force game number 3. It's obviously also the question that is now kind of in the room, whether or not the Exodia stack is even attempting to play a second bounty. Now, just a quick reminder for you guys, these are the bounties that the teams can go for. So, just a quick look, Nova bounty has been completed by the Exodia stack. We had the Monstrosity Avatar bounty completed by Team Ash. Now, obviously, each team has their own bounty board. So, again, then the Monstrosity bounty of Team Ash does not affect the Exodia stack here. And as a reminder, you cannot complete the same bounty multiple times as a team. So, yeah. But there's still plenty on the list here. There's plenty to go with. Let's see if they're doing any of this. But for now, at least, when it comes to the bans, we get Tracer banned. Ours is a big map, Garden of Terror. I wouldn't really be surprised to see Falstad being dealt with. Dehaka is, of course, another factor here. If you're playing a lot around the globals, then you kind of consider that too. Blaze has been banned first and foremost, and yeah, first pick, first ban was taken by the dudes. So now that again, Ultralisk Smaev has been targeted as a ban. Question is, what are they gonna pick? Hogger is up. Very popular on Garden of Terror, of course, because of the camps that you can take very easily. Something that they could potentially take now. But they go for a Genji pick for Nano. Nano gets Genji here early on. So Hogger is still up for grabs. I mean, Hogger, Dehaka, you have no shortage of side laners. We still have the rule that you only can play hero once within a series, though. Now that I think about it. You can kind of tell that I've actually, over the last few weeks, months I want to say, that I've mainly, all the recent tournaments that we had just vanilla draft rules. So there was nothing involved around heroes only being playable once within a series, but now we have that back, so I kind of have to start figuring that in too. Abathar gets taken from Yasuo. So I think Yasuo was one of the culprits that in the Banshee Cup, where we also were running a bounty system, used the monstrosity and just ignored it over and over again. It was honestly heartbreaking to see. He just would drop it on the side lane and then not take care of it whatsoever. So him now locking in Abathar is already giving me some stomach pains, because I think it's highly likely that they're going into another bounty attempt here. It's a big map, then they could definitely do it, but yeah. You could of course go Abathar Murky. Murky is mega annoying, and with Abathar even more so. If you're able to play Abathar Murky here, and then go for a copy and copy someone else, that would be fairly interesting as well. So there's a couple of different variations on what they could do if they were really looking for some bounties. We now got Uther banned, and the Vikings have been eliminated as well. Genji, Anduin, and Garrosh on the other side. So Anduin for the light bomb engage with Genji, that already gives you a lot of tools if you're jumping into the backline. Could even try and take Abathar out that way. You sniff him out once. Genji definitely has the mobility to deal with that. So, for the blue team, Urel and Rhaegar. Yeah, that makes Murky very, very unlikely. So, if they wanted to go for a bounty, it would still leave the monstrosity up. I suppose they could go also, I mean, they could even go false dead here. Would make things a little bit trickier for Genji. Normally when you're going up against Genji, false dead is of course the first hero that he will go for. But if you have Abathar with a symbiote, that makes Genji's job a lot harder in that regard. Sylvanas and Sonya. So we got Sonya, Garrosh, Sylvanas to disable some of the structures and push harder. And now the question what Dino's gonna pick. And still, what are we gonna see from Abathar? Is it another monstrosity attempt that we're getting? Garden of Terror is a big map. You could definitely play the macro game here. We've seen it before. This is actually where Team Ash completed their monstrosity bounty. So, ladies and gentlemen, heading into game number 2, the Exodia stack has taken the lead in the best of 3 series here at the semifinal of qualifier number 1. And the final pick is Orphea. Let's go. Game number 2! The Exodia stack on the left has taken the lead. We have Hazorbs on Abathar. Okay, that is starting to make a little bit more sense. Hazu definitely knows how to play with the monstrosity, so if they are intending to lock another bounty in, then this is definitely the player to go for it. And not Yasuo, who's just breaking my heart with every single ult that he uses. Dino on Orphea, as you would expect. We got Copenhagen on Urel, Bad Benny on Muradin. Yasuo is playing Rhaegar, last but not least. And then over on the right side of the map, we got the dudes. With Bloodcool on Sonya, we got Nano on Genji. Gavlo is playing Garrosh, Ultralisk on Sylvanas, and Uki is playing Anduin. The Sylvanas composition is of course going to try and take one of the towers down very early on in the game. So they are starting to poke a bit against it. The rotation is slowly happening. Normally you're getting to half of the HP gone. With Abathar, later on you will have to be careful because he's very likely going to go for Mule. Given the build that is being used here, I think it's already a guaranteed. If you go for a Envenomed Nest build, for Toxic Nest build, it's a bit different. You occasionally, you know, see a bit of a different approach than on level 7. Not a lot, it's not really likely. But yeah, either way, this is currently highlighting a Murky play later on. Benny is channeling his inner Lauba and dies instantly. So does Orphea. So that's an easy double kill for the dudes. Very nicely done. So, yeah, good job so far. Getting 2 kills this early on, building up a little bit of momentum and just punishing the blue team for being overconfident here is definitely working in their favor. And the problem that you have when you go up against the Sylvanas composition is that losing heroes is getting punished immediately. Easy double kill, easy tower. That's what they're getting out of this. Genji jumping out, he was actually trying to steal the Siege Giants away. That didn't really work. But, yeah. And Gavlo is now also sitting tight. Now we got Bad Benny starting to just anchor the plays a little bit. But I'm intrigued how much momentum the dudes now can gain. As I said before, they had a very solid run in the quarterfinal. Now here in the semis, they were of course on the first map not able to claim victory. But you shouldn't really count them out. I mean, the team composition as it is a little bit newer, fresher. So they will need a bit of time to find their rhythm, I guess. It's not like those players haven't been playing together in the past. But not in exactly this constellation. So a bit of communication problems are still to be expected as they are progressing through the qualifiers. I think this is going to change. 4 talents are kicking in, and Nano is actually getting a lot of damage down here. Yeah, with Abathar, even with Abathar picking up level 7 eventually, if all of the lanes are getting attacked, he's going to have a tough time guarding all of them. So here's the attack against Sonya. A lot cool, bit low, but not dead. Is able to survive. Sweet. Good for him. 2 kills to 0. Ah, and the Stormbolt misses. Benny going for the zoning Stormbolt, trying to anticipate the movements of Garrosh, and didn't really work out in his favor. Rhaegar is still starting to take some camps. Dino helping out with it. Went into the Allegrisimo on level 4, and we got the Adrenal Overlord, of course, for Avatar. But the big question is still going to be that level 10 talent. Monty, yes or no? The map would cater towards it. Abathar in the hands of Hazu, definitely possible to make that happen. But we'll have to see and figure out what they're willing to risk here. That's the bigger question. Because you can still go for the copy with this. If you just want to go for the 2-0 victory, then yes, you can definitely pull that off. But, well, as things continue, we now have not a single kill for the blue team. They're still working on this, trying to make a couple of moves here. Push coming through the bottom of the map in order to try and take some structures out too. Sonya still enjoys a lot of freedom at the top lane and can take this one out, so that's what she's currently trying to do. With Urel already moving in, that's what we're getting there. Yeah, Copenhagen still crushing Blood Cool out. And now at the bottom defense is coming in, and the seed, the first one, is also ready. They're actually delaying this for as much as they can. With Abathar, you always want to do that. So if Benny, for example, can drop a Stormbolt or 2 and just slow them down a little bit, would really help. They're going for Garrosh. Garrosh might actually go down here. Yeah, Abathar is helping out, but it's Rhaegar that dies first. But the pancake move from Urel. They're taking Garrosh apart. He's gone. Garrosh destroyed. And now they're going for Nano. Over on the right side, they're making the play for Anduin. Both of them are low. And with Urel is such a monster to begin with. And then if you have a symbiote on top of your head, you can just really wreck them. And that's exactly what Copenhagen is doing. Has to jump out again. Is a bit low. Might actually fall now that they're following up on it. He gets out with a money pick, and they're getting a double kill against Genji and against Sylvanas. Damn. That was sexy. That was really, really well played. 3 kills to 3 now. They didn't lose a single hero on that encounter. And they did big damage against the opponent's team. And more importantly, they took the seed. So they are progressing on the objective. They get their kills. And now they're looking to gain some additional lane control by grabbing more mercenary camps. And of course, with level 10 now being ready, we're likely going to get monstrosity here. I think they're going to go for some actual macro plays with this. This is a huge map. Hazu has the skills to pull that off. And I think should. I mean, for now, we're still having the attack happening here with the mercenary camps. A very similar approach also from the red team, trying to tee all that up. Here's the monstrosity. That was to be expected. Monty is in the house. So we're getting Monty for this. And now with 3 kills to 3. Plays are being made for the top side camp. Abathar has so far not popped his ult though. Could do it at the bottom of the map, and does, as Urel is starting to move away from it. Camp is also stolen. I mean, things are actually starting to get a bit grim for the red team here. Now, there is an attempt to get a second bounty completed, which is pretty sweet. But down at the bottom of the map, yep, Hazu is gathering some stacks together. They're sitting on 6 right now, so be careful that Sonya is not taking him out. But is rotating very quickly out towards the Nexus. So yeah, just leave the top lane for now. and buys himself a little bit of time where he can focus on other things. Specifically since they're still taking camps. We have Leap, by the way, on the side of the dudes. So that's 2 potential engages with a light bomb. Have, of course, timed it a little bit differently with Sonya, but especially if Genji makes a move and gets the initial stun in, then coming through with Leap would, of course, be amazing for them. That's a long chain that they're getting. And be extended by Garrosh, too. And the second seed at the bottom of the map would also go a long way for them. So if they can grab this one, that would really put pressure onto the opponent, of course, as well. Top side, Monty picking some additional stacks up. Nobody dealing with this just yet. Has to be moved away again after a while, so that the next end is exactly what's going on. Yeah, and the next minion wave. Sylvana's already moving towards the top. So, yeah, keeping the monstrosity in play. Keeping the side lane pressure up as they're focusing to gather the seed down here. And this is going to be the second one. Genji is a moment too late for the interrupt. So Nano might be in trouble. Has to X-Strike away. Yeah, and is able to get out. Monty, on the other hand, was killed. So Sylvanas was at least able to kill the monstrosity at the top. But this is now the Garden Towers. Guys, 3 seeds in a row were taken by the Abathur team. That is not how you usually want to start into the game. This is normally a bit of an indicator that things might not have gone all too well for you. Level 13 talents, 1 level advantage. Down at the bottom of the map, the fort likely going to get destroyed. Defense in the middle at least still strong. But up at the top, Ultralisk goes down, killed by Benny and Abathur. The Ancestral on Dino, and now they're zoned out here. So yeah, Sonya gets a couple of Skullcracker stuns in. They're trying to turn on Benny. He doesn't have Avatar anymore, but he should be able to jump out. Maybe not. Benny, does he have the cooldown? Doesn't even have to. Doesn't even have to jump here. Still totally fine, but all of that guarantees them a second fort. So the first objective drops 2 forts. Exodia stack, eliminating 2 of them. Down at the bottom, even damage at the keep wall done. And a quick reminder, we have the monstrosity in the house, can still be used. So it is another bounty attempt for the blue team. Yeah, not bad. Dino, also with the wave clear here, of course, with Ophia. I mean, alone on the damage numbers, we have him on 22,000, which is easily the top damage in the game, even eclipsing what Abathur brings. Normally, Abathur players have a pretty solid amount of damage too in all of these games. Can go in for some last hits, and of course have some AoE that they can use whenever some of the melee characters are jumping in and they're getting the symbiote. But right now, it's with 22,000 Ophia that is ahead. Ahead of Genji, ahead of Abathur. Everyone in the game here. Yep, Monty's back. And we're having also a couple of mercenary camps now. So the focus of attention goes down to the bottom of the map, as both teams are going there slowly. And it's a bit of an attempt to go for Fia. Nice! Trying to connect the ult here. Leap is in. Whoa! There's the taunt, and it seems like they actually outplayed themselves right now. Everybody's low on the red team, and they're completely trapped back here. So Uki is the first one that gets targeted. They want to go for Anduin. The Crybaby's gone. Anduin is dead. Gavlo also low, but it's Sonya that dies first. A moment later, Garrosh bites the dust. That's 3 heroes down. Make it 4, I guess. Yep, Sonya is... I mean, yeah, she's already gone a while ago. Now Genji is going to get attacked. We just saw Rhaegar fall and Sylvanas, but it's a 5-man team wipe. And up at the top, that's where we're having Monty. That's where we're having Abathur even coming in with his body. And they're trying to take that wall out. Now, death timers are still fairly low, so they will be back in a moment. But this is just big damage done. They're breaking through that wall. They're attacking the middle fort. This one is going to get destroyed. And then you have Urel at the bottom of the map trying to open the wall up too and prep for the later stages of the game. Anduin is at the top. They even take damage at the keep. It's not a lot, but again, it accumulates. It's those small little moves that you can make here. Full map control for the team too. They're picking up another seed. That's the 4th one in a row now for the Exodia stack. And they're stealing some of the mercenary camps. On mercenary camps alone, they're nearly doubling the experience that the dudes have gathered. They're ahead in hero experience. I mean, they're ahead everywhere. They're ahead absolutely everywhere right now. So, bad news for the dudes here. They're really struggling on this. And it might be a second bounty for the Exodia stack. By now, Genji is at least nearly caught up with Orphea. Maybe if they can make a few plays with him and the light bomb, they can get some backline kills. But of course, as the game now continues and the timer increases, it means that the lanes are going to get pushed harder by all of those catapults that are now spawning. And the objective is the next problem. You're also falling behind on the objective. That's another issue that they're facing right now. This is likely going to be another seed because of the position that it has for the blue team. And once that happens, there's more pressure onto the dudes because they're going to face off against another set of Garden Terrors if they are not careful. So it's tricky. It's really difficult for them now. And off we go. That's where we have another move made with the taunt. And Urel is dead. Nice. That was a pretty cool move. That one was worth it. Urel instantly destroyed. Doesn't stand a chance. Now they go for Benny. Light bomb follow-up. He's dead. Dino is about to escape. And it seemed for a second, just for a mere moment, as if Sonya would die. But she makes it. Now, down here, Abathar will still push this a little bit. Monstrosity is gone and needs to be put back into play. 16 seconds before that is a possibility. But it is the red team that is now, for at least a moment, in the driver's seat. They're still 2 levels behind. So that experience gap is still abysmal. But they are at least able to get a bit of headway. The problem is that now the bottom of the map is suffering. The keep is losing some hit points. Up at the top we might see a similar picture in a moment. But the fort has been taken out. So how much more can they do? Half a level until we have 20 for the blue team. For the Exodia stack. And I mean, they are still doing damage here. That keep at the top is on half HP. The keep at the top, at the bot lane, has taken a little bit of damage. Not much, but still. As previously, it's adding up over time. And now we are going to get level 20 talents, and this is going to be the big difference. Because that window is massive. Such a big lead. Nearly 2 levels between the 2 teams. So you have a huge window of opportunity to leverage your level 20 talent. Yeah. Abathar with Hive Mind. And we get the Ancestral upgrade. Orphea with the Eldritch Conduit. And they're all just moving down to the bottom of the map. Even the Monstrosity. I guess they could move Monty to a different lane if they wanted. They're getting a few more stacks for him, but yeah. Could be a move into the middle or the top. Sonya, by the way, is taken towards the top lane, so they're essentially abandoning the bottom keep. They're just saying it's going to fall eventually. Monstrosity is soaking all of the shots and gets instantly destroyed. That would have been nice to keep that up a bit longer, but they still have the absolute power down here at the bottom of the map. The defense is desperate, and for good reason. They're trying the best they can to hold this, but it is tough. Yeah, nice move against Sylvanas there for just a second, hoping of course for a Skullcracker Connect too. Follow up. And Wailing Arrow from Sylvanas. They were hoping to lock him down long enough to get a kill. Did not work, but at least they push him back and buy some time. And with 1 seed on each side, it means that the next seed, even if it's picked up, it's not going to give them a set of Garden Terrors. So while it might be nice to hold on to it, it's not the game deciding factor just yet. They feel like they can do better. Can do better with that level 20 advantage and at least get the keep at the bottom of the map. I absolutely agree. Get that keep. Get it now. We still have a fort at the bot lane, so it would mean catapults on every lane against no resistance. So this is kind of the move to make. But the dudes are throwing everything against them. Sonya's occasionally moving into the middle to try and get herself a minion wave, but just generally, they are hoping to defend the keep. It's just, yeah, in the long run, it's not going to be a thing. They have to be careful they don't lose anyone. Sylvanas, in this case, for example, just barely escaping. You have to be cautious now. Urel jumps in. There it is. Keep is gone. Genji, they're trying to punish them, but an Ancestral gets used and they're totally fine. So, 9 kills to 6. And the bot lane will be a thorn in the side of the dudes from here on out. With catapult pressure on every single wave against them. And just absolutely no retreat. But here's at least the Storm talents for the dudes. So, they pick up their upgrade for Genji. We're getting Ignore Pain for Sonya. And then we get the Inner Rage for Garrosh. I mean, he's definitely raging a little bit right now, because not going to be too happy about that global pressure that they're experiencing here. More plays at the top. Catapult has to be taken care of. Seed would be the second one for either team. And at the bottom, the first catapult is already in. Yeah, this is gonna get a bit weird. So, how exactly is the Exodia stack now playing this? Taking the keep down at the bottom of the map was big. But they are letting this go? Really? Alright. They let the seed go. I expected, honestly, that Hazu would drop Monty a bit earlier and try to get the monstrosity stacked. We haven't gotten yet. It's a little bit more tricky when you're actually in under so much map control, because the problem is that all of the lanes are pushed out. So if you are spawning monstrosity on the minion lane, you're very quickly getting attacked there. So instead they're waiting it out at the top in this case until the opponent pushes, and then after the push is done, they can spawn the monstrosity again, slowly start to get some stacks together for it. And then once you're there, once that is like strong, you can still move it either into a team fight or just onto a different lane and try and how far it gets you. But especially at the start, you need to be a bit careful on where you utilize it properly. And as all of the lanes are pushed out in your favor, it's very much exposed. So it makes it sometimes a little bit tricky to get to halfway decent stacks. Now the attack at the top already happening. We'll have to move back here, and immediately does. Nice damage still. So it's not all that easy for Sonya. Bit of spin to win is definitely going to help the cause, but she also has to tend to fight at the bottom of the map. I even have to leap there. This would be the third seed for the dudes if they get it. They are ahead now with 2-1. But it's that topside keep that's a real problem. If Abathar is not... Yeah, okay. Abathar moved Monty out. It's not soaking the shots. The keep is going to fall. 100%. Oh, what an ult from Ophir. But not strong enough to save the day. Mirrodin is down. Mirrodin is gone. They want more kills. But they lose Genji instead. Topside keep is gone. That's 2 keeps destroyed now. And now that Sylvanas has fallen, I think this is the beginning of the end. Sylvanas has fallen. The core is already getting attacked. Monty is taking care of business over here. Easy peasy. No problem. Yep. Catapults are on it. 89%. And they are just smashing it. The Exodia stack, ladies and gentlemen, is going to move on to the grand final, bearing a miracle here. 44% on the core. Only 3 defenders against 4 attackers right now. And that is all she wrote. Nicely done. Exodia stack completes his second bounty and moves on to the grand final of qualifier number 1.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.